So I'm going to ask everybody to do something a little bit different this time. I want you guys to enlighten me. So it's might be not a traditional webinar, if you will, but anything that we do is not traditional. So I want everybody just to take a moment and I want to close your eyes. I want us to close our eyes and I want you to go back and remember the first day when you got your real estate license. What made you get your real estate license? It doesn't matter if you've been in for 1 month or 20 years. Just let's think about it a second. Did you want financial freedom, time freedom, to be your own boss? What was it? And are you fulfilling that dream today? So now you can go ahead and open up your eyes because today I'm going to show you how to get your life back. And I want to ask you something. So I'm going to ask you probably the most important question of this entire evening. We are huge Tony Robbins fans. I haven't yet to met somebody that's not. And back in January, we spent a lot of money and we went to Business Mastery, which we were so excited. This was back before, all the crazy COVID stuff happened. And Tony asked a very important question. Are you a business owner or are you a business operator? And the reason why I ask this is I think a lot of us get into real estate to be our own boss, to be our own CEO, to have financial freedom and time freedom, and to be able to serve as many people as possible. Am I right? But I want to ask you guys, and if anybody wants to open up your mic, let's go ahead and do so. I have to ask you, we need to be completely transparent here. If you stepped away today, would your business grow or die? Anybody else? Thank you, Kathy. Right, absolutely. And I have to say this is what we're here tonight. This is what we want to change because that's the answer from 99% of real estate agents is they're operating in their business every single day. If you weren't physically operating in your business, representing client to client to client, I call it the real estate roller coaster, going after transaction to transaction. And then what happens after you have a transaction? You become unemployed again, right? So what I want to show you today, this is my promise to you, is how to become a business owner and not just an operator. I'm going to show you how to create leveraged income. So we're going to show you how to increase your production, increase your sales, represent more buyers and sellers, but also how you can truly become an owner creating leveraged income where your business is no longer contingent just upon you. Is that fair enough? Who's excited? I know I am. So it is all thanks to this man. This is Glenn Sanford. This is our founder and our CEO. And so just a few things to note about him. He has a stockbroker background. He has a technology background. And in the early 2000s, he got into the wonderful world of real estate, right? He was with Keller Williams and he quickly became one of their top teams nationally. So what happened is, as many of us, he wanted to become a business owner, right? He wanted to hit that next level as he hit a glass ceiling, and he looked at his options, and it was either to buy into the franchise or become his own broker owner. So he went the traditional route, became his own broker owner. I believe he opened up about 3 offices, 3 brick and mortar offices to note. And then what happened in 2008, 2009? Usually I get a sound effect at this point, right? Right, the market implodes, and he's one to pivot very quickly, and he realized that the brick and mortar way was not the way to go. And so in 2009, eXp Realty, the first cloud-based brokerage, was founded in October of 2009. So with that said, last month we just hit our 11th year anniversary. eXp Realty is not a brand new company, but we are one that are quickly growing. You'll see here in a minute the fastest growing residential real estate brokerage in U.S. history. Hey, Kathy, if you don't mind muting, I think your microphone was on. So if you want to look at some of the other industries, right? Blockbuster. Tomorrow's Friday, does anybody spend their Friday evenings going and renting movies at Blockbuster anymore? Anybody? Anybody? Nope, probably, right? Because you can't, right? They're bankrupt. So what happened is Blockbuster, they were the 800-pound gorilla in the market. I mean, they were the ones, we all went on Friday night, Saturday night, that's where we went, picked up our movie. We had to take it back, 24 hours later or 3 days later. I joked, I think Moody probably still has a stack that he hasn't taken back. But, Netflix looked at this model and said, well, what if there was a different way? What if we didn't have to be limited in going into a brick and mortar physical space, get our movie, and then have to return it? What if they were mailed directly to you? So if you remember, that's kind of how Netflix got started. Well, they approached Blockbuster. Blockbuster kind of shooed them off because they were the 800-pound gorilla. They didn't have any competition, right? Or very little competition at the time. And within, I believe, 10 years, Netflix completely bankrupts Blockbuster, and they are no more. So I hope everybody said they're not going tomorrow night to Blockbuster, because I don't believe you can anymore. And if you look at kind of some of the 800-pound gorillas in the market, with no disrespect to these companies, they're all great companies. They've been around a long time. Coldwell Banker, Remax, Keller Williams, Century 21, all of these different companies have been doing things in a certain way, but what I'm going to show you is a new way, and that's eXp Realty. Now, let's look at the next one, Amazon, right? I don't know about you guys. I hate shopping, so I love shopping through Amazon. I literally even order my shampoo on Amazon. But let's even look at this year with COVID, right? A lot of companies were having to let employees go, and it's obviously very disheartening. But Amazon was the one that was continuing to grow in these uncertain times, and that's exactly what eXp Realty is doing in the real estate space. Okay, so something very interesting to note here. We showed you the comparisons of Blockbuster and Netflix, as you can see here, within a 10-year span from 2000 to 2010. Blockbuster files bankruptcy. So, you definitely want to always be agile. You definitely want to always be looking at the next new innovative thing so you're not out of business. Now, Hilton and Airbnb, these are very interesting. If you look at the age difference, right? 100 years versus 11 years, the valuation is obviously significantly different. But I have to ask you guys a very important question here. Which one owns a lot? I mean, a lot of real estate, and which one doesn't? Right? Airbnb virtually doesn't own any real estate, right? But yet their valuation is much higher than Hilton. Same thing here with Uber, the world's largest taxi company, and they don't own any cars. Is that not insane? And that's exactly what we're doing at eXp Realty. One thing to note here, eXp is the fastest growing residential real estate brokerage in US history, and we don't own any brick and mortar offices. Do you think that's where the trends are going with other industries as well? So what does this mean for the agent? There are really 4 pillars, 4 reasons why agents join eXp Realty that really make us unique in comparison to other companies. Number 1, being a technology-based company, we obviously invest in powerful lead generation, which we're going to get in further detail, but we're going to show you how to increase your business the way that it stands today. World-class training. Imagine an environment where you can be training with agents and brokers all over the country, now even all over the world, every single day, and learn their best practices. Stock awards. What? Does anybody else get stock at their real estate brokerage right now? I know I can't see you guys, but either raise your hand or shake your head no. Anybody get stock? I know that I didn't at my first brokerage. And then revenue sharing expansion. This is where we're going to show you how to create leveraged income by bringing on other real estate agents, and where your commissions are no longer contingent upon just you representing buyers and sellers. And I think somebody's microphone is on, so if you can just check your microphones so everybody can hear. All right, so look at some of the key differences between eXp and a typical franchise model, right? So eXp, one thing to note, we are one brokerage. I'm licensed in the state of Oklahoma and the state of Florida, and it doesn't matter where you're licensed in the United States, you're working under the same umbrella company, and that's because we're not a franchise. We're not little franchises independently owned. We are a global company, and we're one company. Now, some of the differences between your typical franchise or broker owner model and eXp. Number one, costly overhead. I know some of these brands have huge offices. My first brokerage certainly did. I've only been with two companies. eXp is my second brokerage and my last. My first brokerage, I chose it just due to proximity. It was close to my home, and then also was a big, beautiful, impressive office. I loved it. I was there for 5 years. But when I ran my numbers in 2014, before I left in October of 2014, I quickly realized that I was paying for that office. I didn't have nearly the fee structure that I do now with eXp. Let me go ahead and pull this. Sorry guys, I was getting a call and it kicks me out. All right. So back to what I was saying is my first real estate brokerage, it was a big, beautiful office and I loved it. I loved going in there. Maybe I went in there once a month, right? But the fact of the matter is when I ran my numbers back in 2014, I quickly realized that I was paying for that office as a real estate agent and I was building somebody else's legacy, not my own. Also, I was locally confined, so we would have our monthly sales meetings. I would learn from the same broker or team leader. Every once in a while, bring somebody else in. But the fact of the matter is, I was not going to learn my best practices from other high performing real estate agents in my office because they viewed me as competition, right? And of course, there's inconsistent growth incentives and limited technology and support. So, how does eXp differ? eXp is a cloud based environment. If you remember, I mentioned that we don't have any brick and mortar offices. So, this really gets rid of some of the geographical limitations that we may have in a local office. And what that allows us to do is have live training every single day with agents and brokers across the nation. 40 plus hours a week. This number is pretty conservative. I see upwards of 20, 25 classes a day. Last week, I was able to moderate in our eXp virtual convention a panel, and we had a $40 million producer on there, a $60 million producer on there, $20 million producer on there. I mean, and they're all sharing their best practices because we're all a part of the same company and we're here to help one another grow. And these are guys from different markets that you can take ideas and then turn them into your market and into your business. Real-time support. Just before this call, I was actually in our tech support room helping an agent. So we have real-time support. Hundreds of staff members. You log in, you go to the IT support room, or you go to accounting or agent services or your broker room to meet with your brokers. It's no different than walking into your traditional office space. The difference is you're more efficient now. You don't have to drive back and forth to an office, and you can literally do it at your fingertips from your computer. International collaboration. We talked about really being able to engage with agents and brokers now from multiple countries and all over the US. So there's a lot of referrals that are passed through eXp. And the last on here is the powerful equity opportunities. I'm going to show you how you can become a shareholder in eXp. And not only does this help benefit you financially as a real estate agent, but imagine the culture that this creates. The fact that we're all shareholders of eXp Realty and eXp World Holdings really creates a different culture. It creates an environment of collaboration. So you certainly won't feel alone. Now, we talked about the lead generation, so let's dive in. This is KV Core. If you guys haven't heard of it, definitely check it out. It's a very robust system. You can purchase it on the open market. Last I checked, it's upwards of maybe $500-$600 a month. But you're going to get it absolutely free with your package at eXp. We want to help you produce more, represent more buyers and sellers, and really have a system then systematized in your systems. And so what KV Core is a full-blown website. You have the Internet Data Exchange, the IDX tied to it. This is the MLS feed going directly to your website. Now, more importantly, on the back end, all of your leads go into a smart CRM. You can put them on a custom drip campaign. The system can text them. They can email them on your behalf. It'll give you behavioral alerts. If somebody's looked at the same property 3 times in a row, you're going to get a notification so you can then go and follow up. It's almost like a virtual assistant. You can also be very targeted in your marketing. So you can run Facebook ads, but you can also have different ways to do organic and traffic and get organic or basically free leads through landing pages, through squeeze pages. You can be targeted in neighborhoods, zip codes, price points. You name it, I have seen this system can virtually do almost anything. So you're going to get KV Core. You'll get signed up as immediately after you onboard with eXp. They'll start building your website right away. Now, equity opportunities. How do you become a shareholder of eXp World Holdings? So that's our parent company. You can Google us, EXPI. We uplisted a couple of years ago on NASDAQ, so we're playing with the big boys here. But I hope you guys, I can't see you, but I hope you're holding on to your chair. And this is no inclination of where stock is going. It's, in the future. But what I can tell you is when I joined in October of 2014, it was trading at 21 cents a share. And today, Hamudi, do you know what it's trading at? I know I'm calling you out. His microphone might be off. I think I muted everyone. Kathy's on the penny, right? So right, so 43. That's not 43 cents. That's $43. So definitely, it's been a fun ride the last 6 years, and I can't wait to continue seeing where eXp Realty goes. So how do you become a shareholder? And so if we look at the first box here, your sustainable equity program, you're going to earn shares after your first transaction with eXp. That's where their goal is. Every single agent that is transacting business with eXp Realty becomes a shareholder. You earn shares when you fully cap every year. And you also earn shares when you sponsor an agent, meaning you bring them and introduce them to the company. And once they close their first transaction, you're going to earn shares of stock. Now, one thing to note here, there is a 3-year vest, so you do have to be with the company for 3 years, but it's literally awarded to you. You can do whatever you want with it after 3 years. It's not a stock option, it's an actual stock award. So I don't know about you guys, but my old company, I used to get a plaque at the end of the year, but I much prefer stock now. Now, the Icon Agent Award, I just heard Kathy, so I know we have some icons on here. This is really what's attracting top producers to the company. So if you pay in your cap, which is $16,000 in company stock to eXp, and you do an additional 20 transactions just for a kind of average sake, then you hit what's called icon status, and you can apply to become an icon award. And what that means is you can actually get up to your full $16,000 back in company stock. Again, there's a 3-year vest, but I have to ask you guys, do any of your other real estate brokers, are they paying you your cap back in stock? Are you getting paid back on deals that you did 3 years ago? I know that I certainly wasn't, right? And then the last part of this is completely optional. This is the Agent Equity Program. As I mentioned, completely optional. Nobody's ever going to sell you on this, but it's kind of our form of a 401k retirement, if you will. But if you enroll and you pay 5% of your commission to eXp, they will buy back stock for you at a 10% discount. So it's almost like you make 10% on your money. So I've been doing it for years, and it's definitely paid out well. So we've highlighted the lead generation. We've highlighted the world-class training and support and collaboration that you're going to get, and how you became a shareholder. Now, the fourth piece of this is how we talked about becoming a business owner and not just an operator. How can you create leveraged income where it's not just contingent upon you representing buyers and sellers, buyers and sellers, buyers and sellers, right? It's that hamster wheel. So what this means is what eXp has done is giving everyone an opportunity to create leveraged income by attracting other real estate agents to the company. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking, oh, it's one of those pyramid schemes or whatever that you may have heard. Absolutely not. Let's kind of throw that out the window right now. What eXp is doing, because they don't hire recruiters, they want to grow organically through agents, through referrals. And if you note, we're one of the fastest growing residential real estate brokerages in US history. And so I think there's something to be said with that. So let's look at your traditional model, right? Somebody gets their real estate license, or broker's license rather, and they open up their own brokerage. Why do they do that? They do that for 2 reasons: because they want to take their knowledge and pour into other agents, serve other agents, and help them grow. And then they're also on the back end, they're going to make perhaps a percentage or a flat fee of their sales, right? This is absolutely no different. The difference is you don't have to become a broker now to do that and have all the overhead and expenses and different things that come into becoming a broker or purchasing into a franchise. Now you can do it with eXp. So, how many of you have friends, family, other agents that you know with other companies all across the world? Anybody? I hope some of you do. I know I can't see your faces right now. So what you do is you present with them and you share with them the eXp Realty opportunity. And those agents that you personally introduce to the company, they're going to go on your tier one, meaning you're going to make 3.5% up until they cap every single year. And I'll show you in a minute what those numbers look like. Now, the numbers here on the right, those are going to reflect how many qualifying agents you have personally attracted. And so not only do you get paid on agents that you personally attract to the company, but also agents that they bring on and agents they bring on and agents they bring on. It goes 7 generations deep. It's unlimited across. You can bring on as many agents as possible. So what does this look like for simplicity in numbers, right? So the 3.5% on tier one ends up being up to $2,800 a year. It's up to, because that's the maximum amount until an agent caps every year. Now, it's every single year. You're going to make money year over year over year. I know David mentioned earlier that we have a background in real estate investments. We still own about 50 properties, and my 50 properties don't compound the way that the revenue share does, right? So I'm still getting paid on agents I attracted and introduced to eXp 6 years ago, still getting paid year over year, year over year. And one thing to note here is it's anywhere that we're open, which right now is all over the United States and 6 different countries by the end of the year. So if you know an agent in California, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, you can introduce them to the company and make up to $2,800 a year. Now, if you notice on the right, if you bring 5 or more on tier one, you've now unlocked a higher percentage on tier two, making up to $3,200. All right. So what does that mean? This is where Glenn Sanford is absolutely a genius, is he made the best referral program out there. So if I attract David on my tier one, let's say, and David has an agent that he's in conversation with but may need some help and, kind of pushing them over the edge and answering some questions to eXp, those agents are going to go on my tier two. So it's no secret that I'm incentivized to help David grow. So it really kind of eliminates some of that dog eat dog or shark, if you will, environment. And we're very collaborative. We're collaborative just because I believe eXp is bringing the best agents over, but also we're all shareholders, and the revenue share model it's really designed to help each other grow. So just for sake of example, if you bring on 5 agents in tier one and they're all cappers, and then you help them do the same thing and bring on 5 each in tier two, so that's 5 capping agents in tier one, 25 capping agents in tier two, that's up to, drum roll please, $94,000 a year. And that's outside of your real estate commissions, guys. You're still doing what you're doing in your real estate business, but now you can create leveraged income based on these calculations and really create a business that's not sustained just on you representing buyers and sellers, right? But don't forget, it's not going to stop there. Those agents are going to bring on agents and so on and so forth. So let's look at another example here. Maybe you get really excited about this and you make a 5-year plan and you attract 10 agents to the company and they're all cappers. Again, they don't always have to be cappers. You're going to make that percentage up until they cap every year. So you'll make a prorated percentage every single time they have a sale every single month. But for the sake of example, if you bring on 10 cappers and then you help them do the same thing each and bring 10 each, so that's 10 cappers in tier one, 100 in tier two, that's up to $348,000. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think a lot of agents' lives would change with an extra $348,000. Now, one thing to note here is we are not just a recruiting company. If you understand the revenue share model, you understand it's about production. It's about helping agents produce more, because I could bring on 1,000 real estate agents, But if they're not producing, there's no revenue share. So we're going to pour into our real estate agents and make sure we help them become successful as much as possible. Now, Hamoudi's on the call. So between Hamoudi and I, we've brought on collectively about 55 real estate agents to the company. Nothing crazy, right? But now that's created an organization of over 820 agents in 20 plus states. So now every time one of those 820 agents has a sale, we make a small percentage, and that's definitely created quite a sustainable income. Anybody excited yet? So what makes this all possible? This is our eXp world. Again, we kind of eliminated all the overhead expense of brick and mortar offices. We have these little avatars. I always jokingly say that I love my little avatar. She doesn't have to work out. She's much slimmer. But what you can do is go into all the different departments. I mentioned support, your broker room, agent services, accounting, whatever you need. You go into the different department, you log in, and you get the assistance. And this is also where you're going to take a lot of your training and collaborate with other agents. So, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I'm going to show you just a quick 1-minute video about eXp World. I hope you guys can hear the audio.
A world once disconnected by distance. From impossible to possible. The elite, now the common. The lonely, now united. Now imagine a world created for connection. Welcome to our world. eXp World.
Welcome to eXp World.
Yeah. Here, I'll start it back where we.
A world once disconnected by distance. eXp, created for connection.
So I have to admit, it definitely takes a little bit of getting used to the eXp world, but what I can promise you is about after the third time you log in, you're absolutely going to love it. You eliminate having to drive back and forth to an office. It just makes you more efficient as an agent. So that's what our goal here. So next, we're going to look at all the eXp solutions that's going to help you and drive you in your business. eXp Enterprise, this is our back office. It's a proprietary system. It's built out. Everything eXp is tied into it. You can also see your agent equity awards. You can see your revenue share live on there. So you'll see exactly how much you're going to make out of your revenue share that month. It's not an imaginary number. SkySlope, our transaction management system. I like to compare it to a digital filing cabinet. It's super easy to use. You upload your listing documents or your buyer contract, and it's uploaded to a checklist. And this is where the brokers are going to review everything. If your state allows, you can actually get a split check DA and get your check at closing depending on your state. Workplace by Facebook. So as you just saw in the eXp world, there's a lot of collaboration amongst agents and brokers and staff in eXp world, but also on Workplace by Facebook. Think of it as our own ecosystem, if you will. It's built by Facebook, so it looks pretty similar. You have your news feed, you have groups, you have a chat, messenger, things of that nature. But this is only for eXp agents. You have to have an eXp email to log in. This is where you're going to be able to chat with your brokers. You're going to have a state-specific group, and there's thousands of groups to join. So if you're interested in commercial or investing or learning how to run Facebook ads, you can take and collaborate, take videos, take courses, but also collaborate with other agents through Workplace. But also think about this. I'm often asked, well, do you guys have a referral program? Well, yes, it's 38,000 agents strong in Workplace. So I can't tell you how many referrals are passed through Workplace alone because we're all shareholders of the company. So we definitely try to keep our referrals in house. Next, CRM and lead gens. We talked about KV Core. You're going to get your own CRM. You're going to get your own website and IDX. Everything built out for you after you onboard with EXP. And then branding and marketing. We talked about making our agents more efficient. EXP really is kind of like plug and play. You're not having to all of a sudden become a design artist, right? So if you need a listing presentation or an open house sign-in sheet or some attraction materials or a Facebook social media post, then you can just simply go plug in your information and download it. And again, it's making our agents more efficient so you can be focused on your real estate business. eXp Agent Healthcare. Guys, this is huge. So eXp World Holdings, obviously we're trying to become the best options for real estate agents out there, and they're definitely adding to the eXp World Holdings portfolio. It almost seems like every single day. Last week they acquired the Success Enterprises, and if you guys heard about Success Magazine. But eXp Agent Healthcare. So we know many of us as real estate agents, we're 1099, we're independent contractors, we work for ourselves, and healthcare is always one of those biggest challenges. eXp has now created their own healthcare option. So if you want more information, you can go to expagенthealthcare.com. I have personally seen agents save thousands and thousands of dollars a year just with their healthcare. So definitely worth checking out. Now, we're going to get to the nitty gritty here. We're going to get to the numbers. Is we don't have, because we're not a franchise, there's no franchise fees, there's no desk fees, there's no royalty fees. You've eliminated all those costs. So we're pretty transparent on our fees. Every single agent, unless you're on a team or a brand new agent, meaning you've never had a transaction, every agent is at an 80-20 commission split. 80% going to the agent, 20% going to the company, up until $16,000 is paid in your cap. From there, once you pay $16,000 in company dollar, you go to 100%, and that's where the transaction fees are kicked in. Now here on the right, we have a $149 one-time startup fee. It includes your first month's technology fee. It's going to get you set up in all the systems, and you're going to get a package including 1,000 business cards absolutely free. The only monthly fee that we have is $85 a month, and that's going to include all the systems. If we, you look at KV Core alone, that's a huge saving. So you're going to get all the training. Everything's all inclusive, all the systems, the training. It's all included for $85 a month per transaction. We have a $25 broker review fee where the brokers are reviewing every file for compliance, and then a $40 risk management, also known as E&O, and that caps at $500 a year. So you will not pay more than $500 a year in E&O. I've seen agents save thousands of dollars just on the E&O alone. So as I mentioned, fastest growing residential real estate brokerage in U.S. history. I was agent number 333 6 years ago, almost to the month, and now we're over 38,000 agents. It's just completely insane. You can see our growth chart here. It almost looks like a hockey stick. It's been absolutely incredible. Our core values, this is truly the lifeblood of the company. Even leadership, I know from personal experience that leadership makes a lot of their decisions based on the core values of eXp. It's not one of those that's just kind of thrown out there and then put a book and shelved. And you've probably heard me say some of these words already. So community, integrity, collaboration, transparency. This is truly who we are as a company. So I definitely recommend looking at these core values and make sure that they align with your own personal values. Of course, we're bringing on the best of the best agents, so we're certainly glad that you're here. And, we are bringing on movers and shakers. We're number one in 2019 and now named in 2020, number one top independent, and then number 3 nationwide in closed transactions. So we're bringing over the best of the best, and we're helping agents not only create the revenue stream and the stock, but we're helping agents produce more. So last but not least, this is our application link. It's short, it takes 5 minutes. You could literally do it tonight. This is also where you're going to name your sponsor. But one thing to note here is this is the best place to do your due diligence. You're going to be able to review, download the independent contractor agreement also known as the ICA, is the best place to do your due diligence. You can review everything that we talked about in black and white and really see if you have any questions. We're not going to notify your broker. We're not going to move over your license without your permission. So you don't have to worry about that. And then also, I want to encourage you to get back with the person who invited you to this webinar. They're going to be the ones named as your sponsor. And so we're certainly here to help you and be a support system, but definitely make sure that you go back to the person that invited you. So I am really excited to end on this note. If anybody else is a Shark Tank fan, then you know Robert. And he was actually one of our highlighted speakers last week in our virtual eXp convention. And I'm going to play the short clip on what he had to say about our company.
People that think they've accomplished something tend to flatline. Most people that aren't successful look at somebody who's done something and think that there's this magic door that you walk in, and as soon as you get through that door, the door of success is, puppy dogs and unicorns and roses. But it's not. Everybody in this room knows it's hard, and it's really hard. And, for me, it's constant forward momentum. I want to do better than I did yesterday. I want my company to be bigger next year than it was the year before. Why? Because it's human progression. And I really think you're either hungry and you're driving forward, or you're dying. And I don't mean just dying from a business perspective. I mean dying from a personal, physical perspective. And so I never want to get old. And I don't mean just old physically, because I already am physically old, but I just never want to get old mentally or business-wise or lose my edge. I just want to keep going. I am so bullish about 2021. I got to tell you, I am bouncing off the walls with excitement. And this was prior to today, before we had the vaccine. I just think, gotta go. Here's the downside of all the opportunity in front of everybody in this room. Everybody in this room has the same opportunity, and everybody out there does also. So the difference is going to be you and the company you work for. You guys work for a great business, gotta get going. The time to wait is not when it's apparent. Most people are sitting around right now thinking, oh, what's it going to be like? Is it really going to be good? What should I do? You know what? I'll wait. You know what happens when you wait? You lose opportunity. Go now.